Hello my friends, welcome to another Monday update about painting with me, Dakion. It's October 5th, 2015. You're looking at one of my Waldgeists. I've completed a couple of Malifaux miniatures. This is one of them, and this is the other. And in the background you can see the tree markers I made for them. And oh yeah, you can judge how well I've copied the artwork. I would say my greens are slightly more vivid than theirs, but on the other hand their browns are more vivid than mine. They got they have a little bit more red in their brown. And let's see, comparing this guy to his artwork. Yeah. These now these are heavy as all get out because these base inserts were metal. I showed you, I think, these before when they're bare metal. They're made by Word Miniatures themselves. I don't know why they're metal, because that's more difficult to work with than resin. And I've discovered that when pinning the models to these bases, I could not drill all the way through this big lump of metal with my hand drill, so I had to go out and buy a power drill. And I learned the lesson that if you're going to drill into something with a power tool, do it before painting, because I did last, and there's tiny little flakes of metal spread out over the base. You probably can't notice them, but I know they're there, and it annoys me. Yeah, otherwise, and finding a good fit was sometimes difficult. I had to add this rock, this little rock he's standing on with this foot. This is a piece of cork that I glued on and painted like a rock as an addition, because otherwise, if that foot had been on this piece of ground instead, which is the only other option, I can't have it in the middle of the water, he would have been off-centered on the base. That would not have looked good. And as I did these tree markers, I used those old railroad trees I showed you last time, and I simply glued them to a 50mm base, added some dirt and some grass to make it look a lot more appealing. And that was the Malifaux for this week. So, I guess you could say my love affair with bones is already over again. I was kind of okay with bones after those water elementals, and then I painted these ratlings, and now I'm really, really bored with it again. I got bored like halfway through these. I don't know if it comes across how sloppy and slipshod my paint jobs are here, but they're very, very rough. You know, probably still good enough for just tossing them on the table during a role-playing game. Nobody's paying that much attention to how well painted they are. They just want something to mark the spot where they're standing, and the players just want them off the table as soon as possible anyway. They want to kill them. But, you know, that's them, and that's actually all I got painted this week. Well, no, I did more. I did the bones, the water elementals as well, but I showed you that in the midweek updates. So technically I did these 7 plus those 5 plus the 2 Malifaux, so that's 14 minis this week. That's quite a lot, really. But let's move on to current projects. So for current projects, you will notice here in the background the witches that I started a couple of weeks ago. Not much has happened with them. I've done some outlining on the skin tones. Here are the sort of cyberpunk ganger. So I've started. Why is he so wobbly? I've really just done the black. I've done the coats in a. I tried to do a sort of subtle highlighting of the black, and I don't know, maybe it's too subtle, maybe it doesn't come across as being highlighted at all, or maybe it does, I'm not sure. Anyway, that's all I've done on them, and now I've prepped another batch of bones. Now this is the add-on set known as the Lords of Darkness, because they're big bad villains, all of them, and they're evil. And I put them all on, I've added, bases to them and added some grit here. Despite having, all of them have integral bases, they're all standing on little pieces of rock or something. But they were not very stable, they were all a bit wobbly. Especially this one, the flyer, the succubus, she was really, really wobbly. So they needed some more to stand on, and I thought if they're as I said, big bad villains, they need to have an impressive footprint on the table. So this guy, he's like Skeletor or something, and here's another one, Elish or Lish. I never know how to pronounce that. As I said, this is probably a succubus. It's a lady with bat wings. Usually that means female demon. This is some sort of necromancer. Maybe she's kind of undead herself. Her ribs are showing. She doesn't look healthy. You know, subscribing to an unhealthy ideal of beauty. Not eating enough. Here's a classic well-dressed vampire with some sort of funny outfit and a sort of batwing cape and a goblet and a sword. I don't know if he's supposed to be like Strahd from Ravenloft, perhaps. Not, he can't officially be that because that's probably trademarked, but kind of looks like he belongs there. And this, at first I thought he was just a big orc lord, but then I realized he's got some bones showing through his flesh as well. He's probably undead. This is like a zombie orc chieftain or something. I don't know. And yeah, I'll get cracking on those. I'm not adding any more new stuff. These bone guys are the only new stuff I've primed and prepped this week, because of this ongoing Spookytoberfest thing, which I will not show you in this video. I have a separate series of videos about that challenge. And hopefully I'm going to be painting up quite a lot of different minis for that. So I had this idea that I mentioned in the midweek update that I was going to start using this end portion of the update to talk about some recent purchases, some stuff I picked up. But the thing is, since I posted that on Wednesday, nothing new has arrived in my mailbox. So, what are you looking at here? Well, it's something new for my man cave. I mentioned that I couldn't drill through those metal base inserts by hand, so I had to get a power tool. And this is that. Essentially, it's, I think most people online tend to call this a Dremel. Now, Dremel is actually a brand name, and this is a different brand, but it does the thing that a Dremel does. It has all these attachments, and as you can see there, for drilling, sanding, polishing, cutting. And I think this is some sort of stand for placing it like a drill from above, or I don't know how to describe it. Anyway, so I've tried this out and I learned a few things. Well, first off, I learned to trust the instructions, because the instructions say that the smallest size drill bit that is available is the 1.6 mil. I tried using it with the 1.2 mil because I wanted a smaller hole, but that was not reliable. I could fit it in the chuck, but it had a tendency to slide and get stuck and, well, behave very oddly. But when I switched to the 1.6, I got much better performance from it. So yeah, and as I mentioned, I learned to drill the holes using this thing first before I do any painting. Otherwise, why have my purchase numbers gone up? Well, I had to buy some stuff that was on sale, some first edition Malifaux. I mean, it's not just that it's on sale, but it's, you know, going out of fashion, so to speak. It won't be available to buy anywhere for love or money for much longer. So if I want any of the old metal kits, I gotta pick them up as soon as possible. I couldn't afford to get everything I wanted in one go, so I'm gonna have to cross my fingers and hope that retailer still has a lot of that stuff left at the end of the month when I get more money, so I can buy more. The never-ending treadmill. Well, I don't think I'll be buying anything new this week unless something unexpected turns up. So hopefully I'll get my numbers in check before the next buying spree. And yeah, as for other videos, as I've mentioned, I'm doing that separate series with right now I'm painting these guys, the Soul Reaver Knights, for Warboss Tay's Spooktoberfest challenge, and I'm going to be doing more of the Kings of War Undead. If and when I finish these before the end of October, I should do that. And I'd like to point out that those videos are more step by step. You know, not that I'm showing you every minute of every process, but I do a little bit of work on them, then I film a few minutes to show how long I've gotten, and then I work for another few hours, and then I film another few minutes, you know, just showing when I finish certain things, like finishing the basing, or finishing the priming, or laying down a certain color, you know. Unlike these Monday updates where I just show you everything that's gotten done for the last 7 days, you know, there's not much step-by-step there. Anyway, that is probably it. Well, okay, some stuff did arrive in my mailbox that's role-playing game related. I got, let me see. First off, I got these two supplements for Dungeon World called The Perilous Wilds and A Book of Beasts. They're from a Kickstarter I backed a long time ago, and I barely had a chance to look through them yet. I'm assuming they're nice. I also got this, which is a new role-playing game. This was given to me as a review copy, so I feel obliged to review it. However, I will not be doing it here on this channel because it is a Swedish role-playing game. It's in the Swedish language. There's not much point to me reviewing it in English. So it will be getting a written review on my blog instead. And yeah. That, I think, is that. And I don't have anything more to say right now. So, keep a lookout for those Spooktoberfest videos. There will be one, I hope, tomorrow already. And pretty regularly after that, every 2 or 3 days perhaps. And yeah. Until next time I see you, this is Dakian, signing off.